Okay, welcome back. Next two companies are M and G and then D. Okay, so MGD, and we're gonna go over to the other side and control all three of them. So let's see about doing that. And I'm gonna grab some more chips to take to the other side since we have three players over there. We'll just set those right there. Okay, so it's M, G, and D. M is Medici's company. And I think we talked about this. This is in Italy. So you can see that M has no track delay. He's blocked in right now. So we have a 30, and so he has an 80 run. He can do an 80 run this way, or he can even connect to here and get 30, 30, and 20. So he has two different 80 runs he could do. And he would actually benefit from having a second train because he could actually go one way with one train and the other way with the other. But he does not have any of those luxuries. He in fact has $0. So we're gonna grab 40 bucks for him. So M Company now has $40 and Medici is gonna make $40 more. All right, so next up was G. And G Company is owned by Russia here. And it's the one that's here in Sweden. So you can see it right here. So what he's trying to do is MSP through the port can come in right here and there's a double whistle stop and then he can collect money from this red zone. That's very valuable. And then G can do the same thing. He can go through the port and connect there, but not as easily because remember, this is a -1 and you need a token at the port. And if you notice, this port has no ability to place a token there. So if you're going out the port this way, you're going to take a -1 penalty. But if you're coming into the port, this token over here cancels the -1. So you see how it changes based on which direction you're going. So Sweden welcomes commerce from Russia, but Russia doesn't necessarily welcome commerce from Sweden. But no worries, G here can just go across this. So now this is a -1, so G's going to need to place a token here. So that's what he wants to do this turn. So let's see what he can do. First thing we're going to do is lay 2 track here. So G loves the fact that we still have one of these left. That's perfect for him. So that's 1, and then I'm going to reach across and get a straight for 2. Now for you rule mongers out there, arguably speaking, he had to lay this one first and that one second, but please don't be that kind of person. Okay, so in order for G to take advantage of going over to here, right now his run would be $20, $30, which would be 50, 60, 70. That's a $70 run. But if he puts a token here, he can do a 30, 60, 70, $80 run. He'll make $10 more. And remember, it's about making money for your personal money. So even though G would overall, because he has to pay for this token, so overall he's going to be at less dollars. Your personal money, however, will go up. So it's worth paying for this. Unfortunately, G has a whopping $6 to his name, and it's going to cost $20 to place the token. So right now, G is going to have to settle for 20, 50, 60, 70, that's 35 each. So $35 for Mr. Russia, and $35 for G. And I'm running out of 10s here, so I'm just making some change. Also something you have to do a lot in this game. So I just made $50 and change, and there's 40, and then 2 5s for 50 more and change. Okay, so that's G's turn. And then lastly we have D, and D is owned by Mr. Lord Wellington here. And if you recall, D is Lily here. And so there is one track right here. We want to connect that way. And we did get one whistle stop, so that was good. So I think we want one of these. Okay, so here's what's cool about the situation. This is a French company, so he can only lay track in France, but he can go to London for his run. There's nothing stopping him from going to London for his run. And because as long as the track was laid in London and he's not laying track in London, he's welcome to go through London to make money. So he has an option to go to Paris and London. Right now, London and Paris are both the same in terms of pay. But the reason he wants to go through London is because there's 2 whistle stops here and there's only 1 there. So we're going to get 30, 60, 70, 80. But do not forget, this is a plus 20. I know the camera's not zooming in on it very well. That's a plus 20. So this is actually 50. This spot is a $50 spot, a 30. So that's 80, 90, 100. The D company is making $100, which is now the most any company has made in the game. What was Mr. Wellington's job? To have the best companies. You see the theme here? So he just made $100, which blows away the $80 that everybody else made. So he owns 50%, so it's going to be paid out at 50-50. So we're going to come over, and Mr. Wellington's going to get 50 bucks. And unfortunately, the treasury was at empty, so there's no train buying that's going to happen, but it was still a very, very good run for him. So that's it for D. After D is RCP. RCP is owned by Mr. De Gaulle, so we're going to go to the other side. I'm just checking real quick. RCP is owned at 50%. And RCP is our Portugal company. So we're going to come over here. And he wants to go to Madrid. But the problem is he wants to make money now. He has to do a run. And he's not going to make it to Madrid this turn. So he's going to have to lay the track where K was going to lay track. How RCP and K got... Actually, it would have been nice if K went first, but it doesn't go first. So RCP is going to have to lay the track to connect to K. So here's the first one. And the second one. Now you see this dotted line here? That doesn't mean that that's connected for track. This dotted line means that this is the North Sea Zone and this is the South Sea Zone for the purpose of these tokens that we talked about. So that's just showing the line between them. And got it. So that's his 3 track points. So this is $30. This is $30. And then of course, oh, hold on. K is in the way. So we have to go to K. So this is $30, $50, $70. So that's a $70 run for RCP. So we're gonna grab 35 bucks, hand it to Mr. De Gaulle, and 35 bucks, and I'm gonna give it to RCP. And RCP does not have enough for a train and doesn't even have 100 bucks. So now we go to company L. That's our company. And so let's see what we can do with L. So L is in a situation where he would like to connect to London, but you can see that Lawnmower has us blocked. And I'll show you in a second as I lay my track here, if you don't already see it. So let's see, what kind of track do I need? I need this one. So there's 1. And then 2, but I don't want to lay a 3rd because that would cost me $45 and I don't want to do that. Okay, so when we get to Green Track, I'll be able to connect in. But right now, Lawnmower blocked me off, so I can't get to London. However, I still at least have a $20 city, which is better than nothing. And remember, L has this special ability of 1+1. So I actually have a 3+3 train, not a 2+2 train. So unfortunately, the whistle stops are not going to help me, because these two will once I connect to it. So Mr. Wellington did a good job of screwing us on this. He wasn't happy that we went into London or went into England with him. But we can at least do 1, 2, and then go across the ferry. I can't count this because I can't figure out how to include both cities. So we're only going to get to do 3 cities and no whistle stops for our run, which is not an efficient run, but it's the best we can do. So we're going to get $30, $60, $80. So even without the whistle stops, we're going to get $80. Had we been able to figure out how to connect to 3 whistle stops, that would have been $110, and we would have told Mr. Wellington to stick it, because we would have made the most money. But unfortunately, we only made 80. So grabbing some cash here. I'm grabbing $40 for us. So we are getting a nice little nest egg going, like so. And then I'm gonna grab $40 for L, which had $0 to his name, so he's got a ways to go, but I think he's gonna be in great shape. And so now we move on to BHB, which is Mr. Wellington. So let's do his track first, and then we'll take care of his stock after. We know Mr. Wellington has 50%, so he's gonna lay Berlin for 2 track points. Remember, all metropolises cost 2 track points. So Berlin's gonna be laid for 2, and then he's just gonna swing around for another whistle stop there eventually for 3. So he gets $30, $60, $70. So I got $35 each, and so I'm gonna give 1 to Mr. Wellington, or I'm sorry, I have to give it to Mr. Wellington and BHB. So I'm just holding it in my hand right now because H's turn is coming up. In fact, so I'm cheating a little bit, but I'm gonna do it so we can save camera time. He went, and then H is after K, but H and K are both in Spain, so at some point we're gonna have to worry about turn order. But H is way over here, and K is way over there. So we can take H's turn before K, and it's not gonna matter. And we're gonna do that because H is also Mr. Wellington's company. So we're gonna just run everything, and then I'll take the time to walk to the other side of the table and give him his money. So let's go ahead and do, well, we can do K right now. I'm just holding on to Mr. Wellington's money. So let's do K. K has no track he can lay. So here's a $20 city, and this is a $30 city with a $20 whistle stop and a $10 whistle stop. Don't forget that this is also a whistle stop. So 30, 50, 70, 80. So even though this was a lower income city, this extra money here made it an $80 run. So, so I'm grabbing $40 for Mr. de Gaulle. And I'm going to grab $40 for K. Now, K is an interesting company. I'm going to exchange $50 in tens, because I'm running out of tens here, to give K a $50. So let me show you how K is looking. K has $50, 75, 85, 90. It's not enough to buy a train, but his mail revenue is giving him money quick. So he's going to be right up there and one of the first ones to buy a green train. Okay, coming back, let's do H's turn, which is also Mr. Wellington. And we're going to put that down. And then this is $45. So actually we have to go over and see if he can afford to even lay that track. So yeah, let's take care of that now. So I still have the BHB money and Mr. Wellington's money. So let's go over and pay him and then see if he can afford to lay track in Madrid. Otherwise, he's going to have a plan B. So Mr. Wellington is going to get some money, and then the BHB is going to get money, and it's definitely not enough to buy a train. H has $10, $20, $30, $40, and it does get a 20% discount. So it is a $45, so it's going to be 36 bucks. So he's going to do it. He's going to spend all $40, and he gets $4 back. So he's down to $4 to his name, but he is going to place the Madrid tile. And everybody else is happy that he paid the money, so they don't have to pay the money. That's also part of this game, is it's a big giant game of chicken. Who you're gonna sit there and wait and see if somebody else will pay the money instead of you. So the one thing though is, since he's the one that's paying the money, he gets to set the orientation. So in doing so, he is blocking off MZA and Chin from making it, and so that is one drawback for the other people. But his run is going to be $30, $50, $60. So I'm going to grab $30 and then $30 again. So I have $30 for H and $30 for Mr. Wellington, and it's going to be F's turn, and company F is also Mr. Wellington. So let's lay the track, and I'm just going to keep the money here, and let's see what F can do. I'm pretty sure F has no money, so he's probably not going to be plowing through that mountain anytime soon, but he does have an opportunity to lay some track, so he's going to do that. And unfortunately, remember we had we're limited on how many tiles are left for double whistle stops. So he has to do this situation. He wanted to just turn, but he can't. So he has to go through it and then do a tight turn for track 2, and then for track 3, come up. And that's going to make him one track short of being able to connect to Mav. That hurts. That hurts bad. Wow. That was not what he was planning on doing. So, in fact, let's make sure there really are no... So turn order matters in this game. First come, first serve on these double whistle stops. See, there's another straight. And I think that is it. Yeah. So he had... The good news, there was at least a double whistle stop left. I mean, sometimes there's none left at all. But that's his situation. And I know you might be thinking, well, just connect to this city, but he can't lay track here. And let me back it up, the camera. So, see, there's a city here he could connect to, but this is the border. He can't go into Bulgaria, Romania, and Serbia because he doesn't have track rights there. Now, he could try to connect to this city, but he needs more than 3 track points unless he's willing to pay 45 bucks, which I don't think he has. So he really got hammered. So he's going to run for 20, 30, 40, and he doesn't get to do a second city. And that's it. So 20 bucks each. That hurts. Oh my gosh, that hurts so much. So Mr. Wellington... Is it Mr. Wellington? It might actually not be Mr. Wellington. So let's go find out. So I have my money for H and Mr. Wellington, and then I have $20 for F, and then $20 for whoever owns F. So let's go see who owns F. I think it's Mr. Wellington. And it is Mr. Wellington. So Mr. I want to run the best trains got a little hosed. So here's his $30, and then here's his $20 for F, and then here's the $30 for H, and then the $20 for F. And what's funny is F actually has $40, so he could actually plow through a mountain, but that still wouldn't help him. So F got hosed. So that did not work out well for Mr. Wellington. That F company wasn't necessarily his master plan. And in fact, he may someday take that 2 train from the F company because he doesn't even care about F. So let's see. Looking at the turn order, we're getting near the end. So now we go to B, and B is our company. B is boxed in right now. He has the ability to upgrade track for really low prices. But we can't upgrade any track yet because we haven't unlocked the green track. So 30, 60, 70 is his run. It's that simple. So I'm grabbing $35 for me and $35 for B. Our B company had $0, by the way. So he's nowhere close to buying a train. And we are done with our turn. So now we go to MZA. MZA is one of these two are the Medici companies. So this is the Medici company he was forced to purchase because he didn't want to go an operating round without being able to buy shares. So MZA here has real easy choices. There's a port here. See this little port? He can go to Algiers, which is this red zone, for 30 bucks. So that's 30 and that's 30, and he just needs 2 whistle stops. He can also go to this public port here for 30 bucks, but he can't go through it because this token is blocking him from getting to that whistle stop. So it'd be really nice if he can get some whistle stops, and he'll at least get 1. And I'll show that right now. So there's 1, 2, and then he's going to connect to Madrid. For 3. So that situation, he's going to get $30, $60, $70. It doesn't matter which. He's got 30, 30 here, 30, 30 there, and 30, 30 here. So he could run 3 2-2 trains if he could afford it, but that's $70. So we're doing 35, 35. So I have that here and I'm setting it aside. 35 for Medici, 35 for MZA, and we're going to do Medici's other company, MAV, first. MAV is the Austrian company here, and he was laughing at Mr. Wellington, and he will gladly finish the track and tell Mr. Wellington it was on the house. So now he has a 30, a 30, and then plenty of whistle stops to count. So that is $60, $80 for Mr. Medici. So that's going to be 40, 40. So 40 for Mr. Medici, and then 40 for MAV. So I'm going to come around and hand out the money. And let's see if anybody could afford to buy a train. If they were able to buy a train, we're going to have to backtrack the MAV turn, but I highly doubt that that's the situation. And the payouts are going to change. I just realized. So let's talk payouts. We had $35 for Medici and MAV, because MAV ran for 70 bucks. And then we had 40 for Medici and MAV. So the $40 is fine. So we're going to give Medici his $40, and then we're going to give the $40 to MAV. That's not a problem, and MAV had not enough. The MZA was wrong. He owns 3 shares of MZA, so he actually has 75%. So we said that he made $70, so 70 times 0.75 is $52.50. So the way the rules work in this game is you round up for you and you round down for the company. So he's going to get $53. So I'm taking $50 there. Oh, sorry, I bumped the camera. And he's going to take 53. And so then, what is it? 70 minus 53 would be, yeah, see, my brain hurts. 17. So I'm going to take this $10 and put it back in the bank and grab a 5 and 2 ones. So MZA only made $17. Now MZA is sitting on some cash because one of his shares was purchased, but it's not enough to buy another train. And then of course Medici gets some money. And in fact, I may start putting Medici's money up here because this is just getting ugly, but we'll deal with that later. So that's MAV and MZA. So now we have the marker here. Remember, C decided to go last. So let's go do C's turn. That is Mr. de Gaulle. So we're going to walk around the other way. We're going to put the C token here to remind us that they get to choose whether or not they want to go first. And then there you can see in Amsterdam is where C's situation is. And Amsterdam is really a pickle. But he does have, at some point, he can use this port, and he's in the same C zone as London, so he can go right into London. But right now there's no track connecting to this port. See that little jutting out there? That means he has to have a track connected to it to use that port. Now, Amsterdam has 2 ports, and you'll see the other port is this one right here. So he's in this C zone, but if you look at this C zone, there's nothing for him to connect to, but he can go to Hamburg. So this is a $30 city because Hamburg's port is right here. So he's got a 30-30 route already, and then he has 2 whistle stops. So he already has an $80 route. And I'm saying all this because this is a $30 place. I mean, he can lay this down and get a $30 city, but he has to pay $30 just to lay that city, and he may not have $30. And you don't have to do that. As long as BHB exists in Hamburg, he can go to the public port in Hamburg and do that. So $30, $30, and then 2 whistle stops. So pretty slick for him. And then, of course, Rotterdam is going to pay him if he connects to Rotterdam. So I'm looking over at C. He has $10 to his name. So he definitely cannot lay this. And then the Rotterdam, I think he has to pay money to lay Rotterdam too. Yes, he has to pay $30. Normally the designer puts the $30 on top of the token, but this is one of the ones he forgot. So he would have to pay $30 to lay that, and you have to have the $30, even though he's getting $30 for laying the token, you have to at least have the $30 first. He does not, he has $10. So Rotterdam is not even possible this turn, but he's gonna run for $80 and it'll definitely be possible next turn. So we're gonna grab $40 and $40. So $40 for Mr. de Gaulle. And $40 for C. So Mr. de Gaulle is making himself a nice little nest egg here, which is good. Because if he wants to do some early OE runs, that's exactly what he has to do. So we are done with the regionals. So now we move on to the major companies. And in order for this to move up, these guys have to make $110 a share. It's not possible. You've been seeing it. We were only making $80 a share. To make $110 a share, you needed to have a green train, and we don't have one. So my apologies to those of you watching. I didn't play this well. I should have figured out how to get a green train by at least one of these companies. And otherwise, I would not have gone major with all these companies. So that's a big error on my part. But let's go ahead and see what we can do. MKV is first. So, so here's the thing. These companies are going to pay out, though. So they're not going to go backwards anymore. They're just not going to go forward. So this is the furthest back they're going to go because they're all going to pay their shareholders. So it's not the end of the world because let's say we go to the stock phase and these other companies go major. They're going to end up, you know, in this spot to start. And then these guys are going to be one spot behind. But they got an opportunity to lay extra track points. There's other things. But anyways, let's keep it moving. We're going to go to MKV. MKV is already connected to Moscow, and it is sitting on a Y city, and it has another Y city. So it's actually connected to 3 Y cities. So MKV gets 6 track points. So his goal is he just wants to lay a bunch of track. And he's going to try to help out Lizard here, and there's a lot of stuff he's going to do. So let's get the 6 track points out. He already has his run in place, so he doesn't need. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So without green trains, these two are going to collide with each other. But that's okay. MKV doesn't care. This is owned by the same player. He owns both of these companies. So he's helping Lizard to get connected so Lizard can put a token here and finally get out of this nightmare. So he really helped Lizard out a lot in doing what he just did. So, so anyways, MKV is going to run for 80. So at $80 a share, I'm sorry, at $80, that's $8 per share. Because these are now major companies, and major companies have 10 shares, if you remember. So the president's share is worth 2 shares. The president's certificate is worth 2 shares, so that's 20%. And then every other share is worth 10%. And so I'm looking over at Mr. Russia, and I'm realizing a few errors. The first one, well, actually just one error. He owns 75% of MSP. So MSP is going to have to take some money away from, I paid it at 50-50 MSP. So MSP made 40 and 40. So this is $40. So it would have been actually 60. So I'm going to give 25 to him and take 5 back. So MSP only made $20 because right here he had 75% of the company of MSP. Oh no. Oh, MSP hasn't run yet. What am I smoking? Sorry about that. Sorry about that. MSP hasn't run yet. Okay, let's get back to MKV. MKV is a 10-share company, and he only has the president's share. So it made $80, so it's $8 a share. So $10, $15, $16 goes to Mr. Russia. That's all he gets. Now, 8 shares belongs to MKV. So 8 times 8 is 64. So 50, 60. I'm going to give him $65 and take $1 back. So $65 goes to MKV. So you can see MKV just made some pretty decent money, but it's still not enough to buy a train. Okay, so that ends his turn. And he paid out to his shareholders, but he did not make it 110 bucks. So we just sort of move him to the side, and now GWR is up. He's in the same boat. So GWR can't even lay track. That's how bad it is. He can lay 1 track. So he's gonna just do, well, he can't even do that. So never mind, he can lay no track. So he does want to get a token in London because this is only a $20 city. So let's see if, we're gonna see if Mr. Wellington has enough money to pay for a token. It would just be $20. So let's go see. He does not have enough money for a token. He only has $10. So very bad for Mr. Wellington. So Mr. Wellington's going to get, so $30, $50, $70 is the run. So now we're gonna go back. Sorry, this is where the game gets a little crazy because you have to see how many shares. I tried to come up with a system where I had all the players and how many shares they had in front of me, but I would have to like write on a piece of paper, I think. And anyways, Mr. Wellington only has the president's share. So we just determined it's $70. So he's gonna make 14 bucks. So we're gonna grab $14, give that to Mr. Wellington. I can't help but think of the movie The Matrix. Mr. Wellington. Okay, so that's $14. And then there's 8 shares here, so 7 times 8 is 56. So we're going to put $56 into GWR, which is a good chunk of change, but not enough to move up. Okay, go back to the stock board. So I'm getting good exercise. We're gonna just keep moving around. Okay, GWR is done, so now it's Chin. Okay, Chin is the Spanish company, and it's run by De Gaulle, and I'm gonna look right now, and De Gaulle only has 2 shares. And so remember, these are all majors, so these are all 10-share companies. So he has a 2 train. He has, I'm looking, about 34 bucks. So he's probably not gonna be able to buy a train. He can lay some track. So he's gonna lay at least 2 track. 1, 2. And remember, he gets 6 track points. So he might as well lay more. So he's going to put this one in as well, even though he doesn't need it. But he's just going to at least put in as much as he can, and that's all he can do. And now he can't lay any more track. This is not connected, so if it were, he would be able to lay more track here, but he can't. Okay, so he has the same situation MZA did. He has a port, and so he can connect to Algier, which is this red zone down here, for 30 bucks. Or he can connect to MZA for 30 bucks. So he has a lot of options, and then he has 1 whistle stop. So he's gonna make a $70 run. So this is just like Mr. Wellington. It's gonna be $14 for Mr. De Gaulle. So I just grabbed $14 for him. And then it's gonna be $56 for Chin. So I'm handing Chin $56 right now. Okay. So Chin is done, and next up is Lawnmower, which is Mr. Wellington again. It'd be nice if those two would have been back to back, wouldn't it? Okay, looking at the Lawnmower situation, that's also in England, he cannot lay any more track either. He actually could, come to think of it. So I don't know if it's very helpful, but he can go into Ireland there because he has connection over here, so he can lay track in Ireland like that. However, see this little -1? That means he has to pay a fee to go over there. So that's not worth it. We're not paying money. He may never even need Ireland. His situation is he can't connect to Lily. So he has to go around, and he would love to connect to this, but there's no way to do it. So he's a little hurt. So he's gonna go 30, and then this is 20 for 50, 60, 70. So only $70 for him. So let's go to Mr. Wellington and check out his shares. I'm pretty sure he only has the president's share of that as well. That is the case. So at $70, he's making 14. So I'm going to pay $1 back to the bank. So I can just take 15 from Mr. Wellington. And then lawnmower is going to get 56. So $56 right there. Okay, not enough to buy a train. I really failed in that department of planning for the green train purchase. But it's okay, all the companies failed. So they're all in the same boat. It's not like one particular person is getting ahead of the others. So, and sometimes if you're the one that buys the green train, everybody else benefits because they go after you. All right, so lawnmower is done. Next is Plum. Plum, if you recall, is the France company. Mr. de Gaulle owns Plum, and he's going to, he's already connected. There's no track delay. So he just made 80 bucks. I'm looking over at the shares. Mr. de Gaulle has just the president's share, so he's going to get $16. He's going to collect 16. So off camera, I'm handing that to him right now. And then Plum has $60 to its name. So at $8 a share, he's going to get 8 times 8, 60. Yeah. So 50. Yeah, so 64. All right, so with the extra money that he just made, he is over $100, but he's not at $200, so it's not quite enough for Plum. And going back to the turn order, the last one in the stack is KBS. That's us. And I think we're going to suffer too. We're not going to make it either. We are looking at $80 for our run as well. And I do have a straight I can lay here. Now, this situation where you see half of it in one country and half of it in the other, that means either company can lay the track. I do have one friend that plays with us that argues that since the town is on this side, it's a German, an Austrian lay, meaning that the Prussia side can't lay this because the town is on the Austrian side. I can't find anywhere in the rule book to confirm his belief. And why would they draw the map like this if it was meant to be only one side can lay the tile? It makes no sense. I would just draw the dotted line right here. So the fact that the dotted line's through it means that either country or companies from either country can lay that tile. And that is, I'm pretty firm on that. I believe that that's the case. So I can spend one of my mountain points to go here. I just don't need to. I have a 2+2 train, and here's my 2 cities. I'm connected to 2 cities, and I have 2 whistle stops. I'm going to make the maximum amount of money, and I'm going to wait. I may do that, at some point, but right now I'm not real thrilled about doing it. So I'm going to just hold off and just make my $80. Now, looking at my shares, I have a president's share, and that's it. So it's the same situation for me. So 16 and then 64. And so I'm going to get the 16 for me first. So collecting $16 for me, and then 64 for Kibbles and Bits. Kibbles and Bits. It's going to get 64. And KBS only had $10, so this 64 just made it 74. So we're nowhere close to buying a green train with KBS. And so we're done. So going back to the stack now, MSP and SB are the only 2 companies left. SB is our company, so let's do that one now while we're sitting here. And they're not going to interfere with each other. So Yes, I am breaking the rules, but I'm just doing it so we can do less walking. So SB is here. There's no track I can lay. There's 2 cities and a whistle stop. So it's a $70 run for SB. So we also just have a president share. So that's $14 for us. I'm going to pay $1 to the bank. So we can get $15 instead. And then, so what is it? 56 for the company of SB. And he already had $10, so he's now at $66. Not anywhere close to being able to buy a 3-train. And I'm also going to just make some change because I'm running out of 10s. Okay, I'm looking at our personal cash and we're doing okay. I don't think we're doing fantastic, but we're doing okay. So last but not least, let's do MSP. MSP, we can at least lay the track and then we'll deal with their stock. Remember, MSP is trying to get to Moscow. So he's going to do that right now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's important that you go into Moscow and then can come back out. So, oh, let me turn the camera. Sorry, you didn't get to see the last pieces there. So you want to be able to come into Moscow from the north and then come out through the south so you can keep going. Okay, so in fact, I'm going to change my mind on a few things. We're going to turn here. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4 track lays. So I'm going to take those 4 back. So do 1, 2, 3, 4. My idea is that then you can come out of here and you can go around the mountains. But I just realized I actually want to go through the mountains with this guy. And so I apologize. I didn't need to do that. I actually do want to go through the mountains so we can add a whistle stop. So, oh boy, sorry about that. Let's go back to the way it was. Three, 4. Okay, so he has a lot of choices. He can go to Moscow. He has 2 whistle stops. He can even go to Sweden through the pathway that G set up for him, and he has 2 whistle stops. So no matter what, he has an $80 run. So we do have 3 shares of MSP. So at $8, 8 times 3, 24. Mr. Russia is going to get $24. So what we're going to do is just grab a 25 and then put $1 back in the bank. So at $8 a share times 7, that's $56. So the company is going to get 56. And he is dangerously close. 150, 175, 185, 195, $196. So one of the options he has is he could, his stock would go backwards, but MSP has the option to say, I'm going to withhold. And what that means is that he doesn't pay his shareholders at all. And then he would have enough to buy a train. But there's a third option. It's called a split, and you'll hear me use the term half cap, because I think most of the people I play with use the term half cap. So I'm going to put, so $25 and 55, 6. So let's put everything back the way it was. We're going to do what's called a half cap. So what a half cap is you're going to keep half the money and then pay out the other half to the shareholders. Here's the important piece. he didn't make enough money to move up. He needed to make $100. He made 80. So the stock is not going to move up. So as long as he pays $1 to his shareholders, this stock won't go backwards. So what we're going to do is this concept called a half cap. So he made $80. So what that means is we're going to take half of that $80. So 25, 35, 40, and it goes to the company, and none of it goes to him. And then the remaining $40 gets divided amongst the 10 shares. So it's going to be $4 per share. So he has 3 shares, so he's going to get $12. So 10, 11, 12, like so. And since I took the 25 away from him, I got to give that dollar back, because remember I put 1 in the bank. So he gets $12, but then at $4 a share, there's 7 shares here, so he's going to get $28. So we're going to grab a 25 and 3 ones, and he gets $28 more. So now let's see how much money he has. Just dividing it out here. So he has $100. This is 75, 85, 95, 205. So that is enough to buy a 3 train. He could do it, but here's the situation. This is a 225, so a 3 plus 3. If you flip it over, he no longer can count whistle stops. So it's not as valuable. Russia has a lot of whistle stops. I mean, just look at how many whistle stops we're going through here. So it's not perfect for him. So he's going to choose not to buy one. That would have pushed us into train phase 3. And unfortunately, we're not going to do it, but he's okay with that. And had he purchased that train phase 3, so here's the thing that's selfish, and when you're playing all sides, you got to be really disciplined. If he would have purchased this train at the cheaper route, our turn on SB, we would have actually had green upgrades. So we would have actually benefited from running a green. And we may have, actually we did hit our number. We only needed 75. So we hit our number and we moved up. Because remember, we started low. So even with yellow tracks, we hit our 80. No, hold on. No, we hit $70. So we didn't make it. We were $5 short. Had he purchased the green train, we would have hit our number because we'd have been able to upgrade our tracks, and then we would have moved up. So that's the other thing MSP is doing, is he's not letting us take the advantage. So he's going to not buy a train, and we're still stuck in the yellow age. Okay, so now we're moving on to, we finished the 2 operating rounds. We're going to the stock round. So I'm going to stop here at 53 minutes, and I will see you in a few minutes.